Okay, so welcome to the Q&A video. This is going to be different from all of my other videos. I really appreciate everybody that sent through questions for this. It's been almost 2 years now since I started the channel, and I really appreciate all of your support during that time. We're up to almost 35,000 subscribers now, which is incredible. This channel wouldn't be what it is without you guys, so thank you very, very much. So question number one, I have a question on wealth, if you don't mind. Have you started manifesting money progressively, or did you go all in millionaire? What would you recommend to someone who's just started? And so that's a really good question. And I've done a few different videos on money, and it's something that I'll probably continue to do because I think for a lot of people that are looking into manifesting, and money is the driving force for a lot of people. But in my latest video, I discussed moving away from money and the need for money, because I always find that money is a barrier for people. And a lot of people that send me questions, they're focusing on having this large sum of money to do X, Y, and Z. But for me, when I'm manifesting, I don't focus on the money at all. And that would be my advice to anybody: is live in the feeling of abundance rather than having a large sum of money to spend. Use your manifesting powers constantly. Be continually in the state of abundance, and the money just it becomes an irrelevance. And I appreciate that's quite hard for people that may be in particular circumstances, but probably the toughest thing about manifesting is that the situation that you find yourself in now, you have to accept that you've created that situation. And that's really, really hard for a lot of people. And we'll talk about that a bit more in some of the other questions that have come through. But when it comes to money, look, I would just say focus on the feeling of abundance, and the money takes care of itself. It really, really does. So question number two, can someone like you, who've already achieved a high level of mastery of manifestation, manifest for others like me who are at the beginning of their journey? So the simple answer to this is yes, absolutely. I'm currently working on a video that will be out in the next couple of weeks, where the whole purpose of that video is me manifesting for others, and the people that watch that video also being involved with manifesting for others. It's incredibly easy to manifest for someone that you've never met and that you have no emotional connection to. Oftentimes people will struggle with manifestation because the emotional attachment to the end result is so great that it causes them issues with manifesting. Look out for that video when it comes out. But yes, you can certainly manifest for others, and your level of skill of manifestation is no different to anybody else. I think that's the key thing from this question, is that it doesn't matter whether you're at the beginning of this journey or whether you've been consciously manifesting for 30 years. It makes no difference. The power in one person is no different to the power in the other. It all comes down to belief. So question number three, how did you fall into the manifestation rabbit hole? Was it crisis, curiosity, or a special encounter? So yeah, it's a good question. And I appreciate that the term rabbit hole, because as we all know, manifestation is not taught in schools. It's not widely accepted, and there's reasons for that, and I cover those in a lot of my videos. But for me, when I was I remember being at school, at sort of secondary school age, which I guess is high school in America, just feeling that what I was going through, what everybody was going through at school, was not searching for answers for who we are and why we're here. It was very much, this is a program to make you a good worker. So that, coupled with the fact that up until the age of about 12, I had a strong Catholic upbringing, I think for me, that's where that curiosity started, just from an early age. Just asking the question, what is the purpose? Because I knew, looking around at the world that I grew up in, there wasn't much purpose to be found. And it's still an ongoing journey. I'm still I'm still fascinated by the subject and always love to read new views and opinions. Okay, question number 4. Were things bad before manifestation? Look, I wouldn't say bad. I've had a fascinating, interesting life. I've had good times, I've had bad times, much like everybody else. I think what you find with manifestation, and once you accept that you're responsible for the outcomes that you have in your life, then when things do happen that on the surface appear unexpected, whether good, bad, or indifferent, it always gives you a reason to look back at the cause, and you'll always find that within yourself. So, no, my life was not bad, but I would say from my 30s, once you do accept that you are the cause of what you experience, it becomes a lot easier to understand all the outcomes, and move your life in a direction that you wanted to go. So question number 5, what is the most specific thing that you've consciously manifested? So yeah, just following on from that last question, I think from my sort of early to mid 30s, I knew that I was creating the experiences in my life. During that time, after I returned from Australia, I met my wife. We've got 4 incredible children. Last year, we moved into a beautiful house that only 2 months and a week prior, we hadn't even discussed moving house, and now we're in this wonderful home. I've had some longer term manifestations that when they do come to fruition, you actually forget, or you've forgotten that you put that in place a long time ago. So they're always interesting when they do turn up. I don't know whether it is age or just having the basic things that I need in life, but I didn't consciously manifest possessions anymore. Going back to the money question, a simple affirmation that I always use is that I have more money than I could ever possibly spend. Something as simple as that, and programming your mind with that, so you then don't ever worry about needing or wanting things. But I think that's just a thing of getting older as well. The material world, consumerism, it becomes much less important than studying and doing what I'm doing with this channel. And those are the things that really drive me now. But yeah, thank you for that question. So question number 6, if you could break down manifestation itself into a few simple rules to follow day by day, so the manifestation is inevitable, what would they be? So with this one, I would just follow one rule and get your subconscious to believe one thing, and that is that you are the creator of your experiences. The techniques of manifestation, affirmation, scripting, my personal favorite when I am doing something is State Akin to Sleep, which is a Neville Goddard practice. Essentially going to bed every night and replaying a scene over and over in your head until you fall asleep. Obviously with that, the bigger the change it is from your current circumstances, the more you're going to need to do that to convince your subconscious that that is the reality that you experience now. But what I would suggest to anybody starting would be to experiment with all of the techniques, find what works best for you to convince your subconscious of a different reality. But the only rule to manifestation I would say is important is just understanding and taking that responsibility that what you experience is your creation. And if you can do that, and you can find a technique that works best to convince your subconscious, then that's it. So question number 7, what was the thing that kept you most stuck in your journey, and how exactly did you overcome it? So for me, this links into the last question, and I think what most people struggle with, and it's the biggest turning point for most people, is that responsibility, is understanding and knowing that the world that you experience is your creation. That takes a long time to deprogram, because throughout life we're not taught that this is the case. This is the biggest barrier to break through. You go to school, you're programmed that you are this individual, you're different to everybody else, you have a role to play in society, things happen to you, that you are the victim of circumstance, that there's so much programming. But to know that we are all identical, that we are all an expression of consciousness, that lesson is the biggest hurdle for most people, and it was for me for a long time. Probably about a decade. I would look at things in my life and go, that's got nothing to do with me. That's happened to me, but that had nothing to do with me. And once you can get past that, then everything else is easy. So question 8. It is my belief that we are a species in the process of reawakening to a higher state of consciousness. What would be your belief? So thank you for that question. I understand why you would think that, and that's on the surface, that's what appears to be the case. But for me, I don't see us as the species. And I think this sort of, again, it links into the last question. If you see yourself as a human first and a human going through an experience, then yes, what you're saying makes sense, and that's what appears to be happening. But if you think of yourself as the higher consciousness, if you think of yourself as the all in Hermeticism, if that's your starting place, then the human species, the animal kingdom, the natural world, they are all just vessels that consciousness is experiencing it from. So yes, I believe that we are living in a time where the human species has more information than perhaps it has ever had. However, that's not who we are. We are the consciousness. So that would be my belief. But thank you for that question. That was great. And question number 9. So did your spiritual awareness come from an understanding you had even as a child, or was it a particular form of spiritual study that you practiced? So again, going back to my childhood, so I was raised Roman Catholic up until the age of about 12. When my parents separated, we essentially stopped going to church. And it wasn't until probably my mid-20s when I first purchased the Kybalion that I started looking into this again. I think from the age of 12 right through to my mid-20s, I was just completely focused on the material world. I didn't give it much thought. But again, reading the Kybalion, that awoken something in me. And since then, I've just consumed everything I could on spirituality and religion, the meaning of life. It's for me, it's the biggest and the only question. So yeah, it wasn't a strict religious upbringing that got me into asking these questions. It was something that came later on in life. But for me, it's the biggest question, and it's probably why most of you watch my videos. So again, thank you for those of you that have sent through your questions for that. If you did enjoy that style of video, if you'd like to see something like that again, I'll look at doing that maybe once or twice a year, because I think it's nice to have a more of an informal discussion and chat with you guys and talk about me for a bit. My normal videos will be back next week. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.